What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 29 of the LARNE project here in Football Manager 2019. Hopefully you guys are good. Of course, if you missed the most recent episode, it was against Karabag in the Europa League, and well, today we continue on our Europa League journey. It's going to be Fenerbahce away from home. Not the easiest game by any means, but we're going to see if we can do it. We're going to see how we get on. And, well, yeah, hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it. This actually, potentially, I think the first of two videos going up today on Friday. If you're watching this, make sure to go check out the video that will be coming up slightly later today. It's one that you're not going to want to miss. Anyway, with that said, let's get into today's episode. And, well, first and foremost, we should talk about the games since you were last here. As you can see, of course, that Karabag game, the 1-0 win by Jim Meister, newly nicknamed Jim Meister. After he scored the penalty, after the episode, I checked it. I was like, why have I got a guy with 7 penalty taking penalties for our team? I didn't realise this. We do not have penalty takers, as it turns out. I mean, look at this. And then when you look at the players who are actually good penalty takers, we've got Mandanda, who of course is injured. Lee King, the kind of young prospect potentially of the future. He's not quite, well, ready for the first team, so he's not registered. Pestridge as well, not registered. I mean, Ross Christie as well, again, another player just not quite good enough. But even with all of these players, you can see here, the best penalty taking amongst them is 9. So, not exactly stand out. You might be wondering about Ross Christie. I'm trying to remember if I ever kind of talked about him. You can see we signed him at the end of August. I feel like I didn't talk about him, so we should mention him. But yes, we signed him at the end of August. He's since had his birthday just 2 days ago. Just a player with some potential, I think, in the future. He wanted the number 99. I've given him the number 99 shirt. You can see if we look at his history, he was playing for Ross County. Did actually make a few appearances for them in the Scottish Championship. He's only 19 years old, lots of potential, a pretty good finisher. And, well, yeah, as you saw, he's one of our better penalty takers, although he won't be registered for the Europa League this year. Anyway, in terms of the fixtures since you were last here, you can see them. We started off with the game against Coleraine, and, well, Paul Glatzel coming up clutch for us with some really, really tidy finishes. This game just 2 days after the previous fixture, and, well, the fixture congestion continues. Let me tell you that now. We've got players on international duty during a week break, so whilst we have this break seemingly in the schedule, there are 1 or 2 of our players who are going to be playing at international level, mostly at youth international level. But at a level that does mean they are not exactly getting a rest themselves. But yes, in this game, Glatzel with some really nice finishes. And then Andy Morrison, the centre-back, with a late goal in the 68th minute to secure us the spoils. 3-0, a very, very, very good result against Coleraine, who were top of the league. Andy Morrison, looking at him here, a player for the future, certainly. Only 18 years old, not the most consistent, but I like a lot of the other stuff about him. He looks like a really good player for the future. And, well, I'm very, very happy to have him here. Of course, the next game we had was against Carlisle in the Iron Brew Cup. We won this 2-0. The Iron Brew Cup, a Scottish League competition. There are a few invites thrown out to Northern Irish teams in the Republic of Ireland, teams in the National League. It seems like it's all a bit of a jolly, really. But we're in the competition, and, well, we are still in it. We are going to be taking on, you can see here, St Mirren in the third round. So a bit of an interesting one there. St Mirren are in the Scottish Championship, so maybe you'd expect us to win it. But they have got a few players, and they have a familiar name. Of course, if you're a fan of the Socio Save, you'll know all about Jay Kitongo, who is a reasonably good striker, so a player to perhaps be a little bit wary of there. Anyway, the next game we had was against Crusaders. This was an entertaining game to say the very least. We got off to a flyer, Janelle Bennett with a goal in the 5th minute. A rebound, actually, in the end, kind of fell to him kindly. Then Charlie Owen got sent off for Crusaders. They were down a man, and at that point I thought, well, we're a goal up, they're a man down. This is now going to be, cruise control. This is going to be nice and simple, but it really wasn't. You can see Johnny Beattie scored with a header. We then pegged them back through Conor McDermott, a really nice passing move to get to him. Paul Eatley from the free kick at the edge of the box with a really good finish for them in the second half. So 2 goals for both teams at the start of the second half. You're thinking 2-2, maybe this is just going to be one of those games. But fortunately for us, Paul O'Connor, the first goal was bizarre. The second goal, a little bit more, I guess, normal. But 2 very similar goals. Free kicks from the wide area, whipped in, and, well, Paul O'Connor, the man to get on the end of them. And, of course, Paul O'Connor, just a tremendous talent for us. Really, really like him. The fans love him too. His current contract has 4 years on it with an optional 3-year extension. I intend to use that. And, at 18 years old, loads of room to improve. It just looks like a really, really good player for the future, who hopefully is going to fully make that transition from kind of winger and inside forward into out-and-out striker, which he very much has been doing here. Anyway, our most recent game against Warren Point Town, a 4-1 win this one. Fully rotated team, so a few perhaps slightly less familiar names in the kind of team as a whole here, but 4-1 is how it finished. Timmy Soberwale, of course, the youngster who we signed from Man City, who's released the defender in the 2nd minute. We then got a goal in the 13th minute through Steve Pestridge. Neco Williams in the 45th minute made it 3-0. And, 2 goals in the second half. 2 very kind of in quick succession. Phil Hill, of course, man of the match. Also the scorer of this free kick. A lovely, lovely finish by him. Questionable roly-poly celebration where he somehow defied the rules of physics. And while not to be outdone, Warren Point Town wanted to score their own screamer. Debatably the best goal of the game. Simon Hanna with it in the 82nd minute. I mean, what a hit, son. What a hit. No chance for the keeper there, unfortunately, for us. Anyway, today we are going to be taking on Fenerbahce. A big game for us. In terms of team news, there's not that much to speak of. Tommy O'Donnell did get injured, and he's out for between 9 days and 4 weeks still, so not exactly ideal. It does leave us very, very light in the centre attacking mid department. And, Jim Wood, who's been complaining about a lack of first-team football, has been making a few appearances as a result, as part of our rotated team. Of course, we have 2 squads which we rotate back and forth. It's kind of how we've had to do things here, and we've had to continue doing it. But you can see across the board just lots of green when it comes to the average ratings, particularly in our best starting 11, which is really where you want to see it, I guess. Unfortunately for today's game, Neco Williams just not quite fit enough. In fact, we are struggling just a little bit with condition overall. I'd like to have more players on 99 and 100. No one below 90 in the starting 11 is still fairly solid, I guess. But something perhaps to be aware of there. But all in all, they're going pretty well. You can see top goal scorer is, at the moment, Keandra Simmons. He has been improving a ton. In fact, his jumping reach has shot up. I've actually noticed this year, jumping reach sometimes just has weird spikes. I like to think of them as growth spurts, but for a 19-year-old to have one seems a little bit odd. You can see here, Phoenix Patterson, who of course missed the game against Karabag. He is back in the side today, hoping that he can come good for us. We, of course, then have Paul O'Connor, who's been back in the goals as of late. Had a bit of a drought end of last year, start of this. But, he's starting to find his feet a little bit. Still looking, for a few more goals from him, I feel like. But he has got 2 so far in the Europa League, so maybe he can come good today. But realistically, away from home against Fenerbahce, this is not going to be easy. So you might be thinking, Jack, you've probably got a nice defensive system you're going to play. I've got a fluid counter-attacking system that we might use one day, but we're not going to use it today. We're going to play on the front foot, regret all decisions probably, but I want to go out with a bang. It's a very similar team to the team we played the last episode. Patterson at inside forward, of course, Phoenix there. Glendining going to be holding on to that centre attack in mid-position with Mandanda out injured. Jim Meister and Sul going to be in the centre of the midfield. And we're going to go with Simmons and O'Connor up top. Glatzel has been in some good goal-scoring form. We've got him to fall back on if we need to. And, let's see how we get on going into today's game. Not going to be an easy one. Away from home in Turkey against Fenerbahce. I've actually had one encounter ever with a Fenerbahce fan, and this is a bit of a weird story, but I was on holiday a couple of years ago, and it was pre-season. In fact, to say a couple of years ago, this would have been 2004. So I guess it's not really a couple of years ago because I was about 11 or 12 at the time. The fact I still remember it is perhaps testament to how passionate this fan was. But I believe it was Everton v Fenerbahce. I feel like it was a pre-season friendly rather than a Europa League qualifier, but whatever way you looked at it, it wasn't like the biggest game in the world. You know, it wasn't a cup final, but I was in a bar. And it was like, we were in a restaurant next to a bar, and there was a few Fenerbahce fans, and I've never seen some people so passionate who weren't at a football match. I'm talking like scarf, shirt, hat. Bear in mind, this is the summer in Turkey, but fully decked out. And I think Everton won, and it was a bit sad. But anyway, that's the story in Balamory. Wouldn't you like to know? Please don't score after 25 seconds. I mean, should I have gone defensive? I feel like, regardless of what decision I would have made, we couldn't have done anything to stop that. But it's not exactly the start we want. We've got Ferdy. I'm going to go with Kadioglu for the name. It sounds good, doesn't it? I feel like Jared Thompson at the near post probably needs to do a little bit better there. Maybe. Just maybe. Now, let's not concede 2 in the first 2 minutes, please. 2 in the first 3 minutes, fine. 2 in the first 2 minutes, nah. 1 more second to hold on, boys. We've done it. This could turn bad, couldn't it? Jared Thompson, he stopped it, and it's been hacked clear. I take it all back, Jared. You're a god. I don't really know how to respond after that start. They've had a few chances. I mean, can Glenn Dining do the responding for us? That's the question, isn't it? Phoenix Patterson now with it. I mean, let's try and hold on to the ball. Let's try and play our positive brand of football. It might backfire spectacularly. Oh my gosh. I don't trust Jared in that situation. I just don't. What's he doing? Okay, he's kicked it clear. McDermott, nice little flick on. Can we apply pressure here? O'Connor closing down his man. Forces them to clear it out wide. Can we try and recycle possession here? We can't. They're actually building it quite nicely from deep, and we're kind of caught a little high up the pitch here. One big ball over the top on this left-hand side. I mean, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I feel like Kieran Kane at left-back, questionable so far, would be the best way to describe it. Junior Hernandez has got the goal for them. How good is he? Can we see how good he is? Did our scouting Fenerbahce prior to this game find out anything about him? I mean, there's a lot more blue than in a lot of our players there. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. I don't want to watch the goal again. It's 2-0 after the first 10 minutes. Maybe it's naive to play attacking from the start, but sometimes you can just wrestle control the ball and make stuff happen. I mean, we've had half the possession here, 47%, and, well, we're on the attack. Let's try and get a goal in Europe. At this point, there's no point in going defensive. O'Connor! Probably should have scored. I leant back in my chair. I thought it was in. But he heads it wide of the mark. Not ideal at all. Can we make something happen here? Fernandez. He's already got 1 goal to his name. Don't let him have a shot. Jim Meister, my son. What a tackle that is. Meister makes him kind of a bit of German flair. I'm trying to think of a German defensive midfielder. Simmons, finish that. Phoenix, why have you not shot? Why have you not shot, Phoenix? Sorry, there's answers on a... Why is he not shot? The goal is open. It always goes in off the defender. I don't know how to feel about that. Phoenix, you're too generous, son. We've probably all seen the clip of Solskjaer by now where he's at training telling all the players to shoot. That's how I feel like I should be approaching Phoenix from now on. I should just be telling him to shoot if the goal's in sight. Oh, that was a golden opportunity to get back into this game and make it 2-1 and maybe make it interesting. And not ideal. Not ideal by Phoenix. I don't know why he passed it. Answers on a postcard. As I was saying with Jim Meister, I feel like having a slightly German flair to his name's about right, because he's that defensive midfielder who can't really pass the ball, can't do a lot going forward. He's just efficient and good at what he does, which is breaking down the play and banging in penalties. Right, show me something else in the second half. I mean, in terms of chances, there's actually not been that big of a gulf between the teams. They've had slightly more possession, but we've both had 1 clear chance. They've had that 1 half chance. We've not been kind of outclassed and penned in our own half, so I'm not actually that upset with playing so attacking as McLeany. I mean, he scores against Fenerbahce away from home. Maybe there is fight in the old dog yet. Phoenix has got the assist. I don't know if that makes amends. I'm kind of glad he didn't shoot from there, though. But yeah, McLeany, what a header that is. From the Northern Irish Second Division, Captain Fantastic, to the Europa League group stage, scoring against Fenerbahce. Now can we defend a set piece? Ball to the edge of the area. Please don't let him shoot from there. Goes back wide. There's a lot of space. That was very, very simple, wasn't it? Ferdy, Cadia glue. There's lots of glues in this team. And, well, he's got the goal there. I don't know what we were doing. I want to know what happened to the players in the wall here. Jim Meister. Who's there? Glenn Dining. I mean, he's not known for his defensive ability. One of them's got to pick up the man, though. It's an easy finish in the end for Fenerbahce. Make it 3-1. And just as you thought there might be a chance of us getting back into it, who has played them all on? O'Sheen, you've played 6 players onside there, or 5 players onside. It's not ideal. And as quickly as we take the lead in this game, they peg us straight back. I mean, can we now go on the offensive and try and get one to make it 3-2? Go on, McDermott. Why not? Why not? Have a go. I mean, it's almost an insane ball to Kieran Kane. As it turns out, it leaves us completely high and dry here. Chasing back. Don't let Mr. Glue get it into the box again. Fernandez, it's deja vu from Mr. Glue. It's a cross from that right-hand side to the back post. Just a switch of play. I mean, It's 4-1. I'm going to demand more from the players. They're probably going to get annoyed at me. I don't want to watch it again. How do they feel? Focused after the team talk. Good. Set piece here. Patterson whips it in. Simmons probably has to hit the target there, you'd say, Kendra Simmons. I mean, this has been a game of the wide set pieces. Is this something new in the match engine that I've just not noticed? As I mentioned, there were 2 goals in our most recent game from wide free kicks. Is this just where all the chances come from now? If you are noticing that trend, let me know. I mean, he's got a hat-trick, I think, Mr. Glue. It's 5-1. I feel like Burton Albion at this point. Let's just not concede 8. I mean, I always thought we were going to get struggling this game, but at half-time at 2-1 or at 2-0 and then to go 2-1, you think maybe there's a chance. You know, the game would have been fairly 50-50, but I'll tell you what, they've scored some very, very nice efforts here. Some from range, some, I'm going to say, had a bit of luck in them. At this point, there's not much point in going defensive. We're already 4 goals down. We might as well just go on the front foot and see if we can score a couple to give our fans something to cheer for. I mean, Phoenix here now with it. I want to believe that something's going to happen. Kieran Kane, O'Sheen, back to Mr. Kane. They press us really hard here. O'Sheen, back to McLeany. Look how many men they've got closing us down. It's a lovely ball to O'Connor. Kendra Simmons is in the middle. So is Phoenix. Heads it for Diego Reyes, clears it. Jim Meister to Fuad Sully. Jim Meister, have a go. Phoenix, Jim Meister. I like just saying Jim Meister at this point. There should be a series counter for the word Jim Meister, although I'm worried it will get into triple figures very quickly. McDermott, Phoenix! That's what I want to see. That was a really nice goal. More of that, please, boys. More of that. 5-2. Maybe there's fight in the old dog yet. I mean, what? We've got 35 minutes to find free. Nice ball by McDermott on his weaker foot. Phoenix just cushions it in. Terrific technique. It's a shame he couldn't score the open goal earlier. But we'll take that. I mean, we're making a meal of it. That's what you'd say. O'Connor, surely not. I mean, I feel like the keeper was always going to save it, and that can't be the highlight because it got my hopes up just a little bit. Can we apply some pressure here? I mean, we're going to apply pressure, but if they break it through this first line of our forwards, we could be in trouble because our midfield is lacking. Tolga with it. Oh my gosh, he's hit the woodwork. I'm glad that Jared Thompson has tried to save it. I'm going to be honest, Jared Thompson is a player who I'm less than convinced about in goal for us. I think it's a fair assessment. Those of you who have been watching the games can probably agree that his performances kind of speak for himself. Jim Meister's not the best game, so let's bring in Romario Vieira. I'm going to move Phoenix Patterson in for Glenn Dining at centre attacking mid, and then bring in Janeel Bennett. Because we've only got, well, Glenn Dining and Phoenix as centre attacking mid options because of a few injuries and obviously the registration rules. We do have to jig them just around a little bit to keep everyone who's playing well doing okay. I'm going to tell the players to show some passion. 10 minutes left. 3 goals. If we could do it, it would be legendary. It would go down in LARNE folklore and work the space folklore. Can it begin now with Romario Vieira? I mean, I want to believe. I want to believe, boys. 5-3. Suddenly, we're not Burton Albion anymore. I don't know who we are at this point, but we're showing that we're not being completely outclassed here. Granted, it's taken a Romario Vieira specialty. I mean, what a finish that is by Romario. He's known for his long shots. He's got another one to add to the collection there. 10 minutes. Can we make something happen? I mean, do I go very attacking at this point? I think we do. Time is slipping away, unfortunately. 5 minutes of extra time. I feel like it's all just going to fizzle out here. I mean, 5-3, you got your money's worth if you were a LARNE fan who made the trip to Turkey. Let's put it that way. We did not look outclassed. We kept hold of possession pretty much 50-50 and away from home, playing an attacking, bold strategy. I feel like 5-3 is, well, it's not great, but considering it was 5-1, it's not too bad at all. And 2 goals between ourselves and Fenerbahce at the end of the day is probably better than I could have hoped for, being entirely realistic. They are one of the better teams in Turkey. We are, of course, a new team on the block when it comes to Europa League football. It was always going to be a little bit of a challenge. But, 5-3. What? I mean, that's a weird result. I would not have predicted that at the start of today's episode. Anyway, guys, in terms of when we'll be back, we've got a game against Sporting coming up. In fact, we've got 2 games against Sporting, away from home and at home. I think we'll do... I'm trying to think here. How many games have we got here? 8 games between now and the second game. I think we will do the second game against Sporting, but then I'm worried that we could beat them. I'll tell you what, I won't go past this first Sporting game before this episode goes up. Would you like to see me do the Sporting game next time? I'm a bit conscious of doing too many episodes a season, but it feels like every game matters. You know, your first season in Europe, you want to make a note of every single group stage game, at least while you're still in with a fighting chance of maybe progressing. Which, I mean, technically we are right now. I mean, it's still a little bit, perhaps, premature, but there's a chance. So, yeah, let me know. Would you like to see the game against Sporting next time out, or should we do the second game against them at home? I want to know your thoughts down in the comments. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. I will be back, of course, on Monday with the next episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Enjoy your weekend. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit.